Now it is time for this week's game of the week, Dread versus Drama. Crimson, what are we up to today?
All right, Lori. So I have prepared different scenarios, and we have to tell whether we think it's worth the dread or if it might just be a dramatic narrative that we're dreading. So I'm going to say the statement, and then you're going to tell me dread or dramatic. You ready?
All right, let's go.
All right. Public speaking in front of coworkers, dread or dramatic?
I mean, I wouldn't dread that at all. Does that mean that it would just be dramatic?
Yeah, it'd be dramatic. I think it's dramatic because if you're nervous to public speak in front of coworkers, you're writing a narrative that they actually care about what you're saying. You're writing a narrative that they're actually listening, and that's kind of being dramatic because those things are very unlikely. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
All right, Lori, dread versus dramatic. Sending a vulnerable text and not getting a reply immediately.
Drama, 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 drama. And I would fall into the dread so hard on that.
Right?
Yeah.
It's
I think there's a million reasons why people don't respond. In fact, I was out to lunch with a friend of mine last week, and she mentioned to me that she sent me a text the other day and I didn't respond, and it made her feel insecure. And I was like, so it happens.
I mean, I'm going through it right now. I have lunch or dinner with a mentor. He's like a elder in a organization I'm in. I saw him today and I'm like, am I in trouble? And he was like, well, we have lots to talk about. And I am in dread mode. And it's hilarious. I do this with him. I've known him a decade and it's always nothing. And I know I'm writing all these stupid narratives. So I'm doing the dread thing, but it's dramatic. I'll tell you Thursday. Okay. Going to a networking event alone. Dread versus dramatic.
Dread.
Oh, tell me more.
Well, it's just the small talk piece is really hard for me. I was at a conference this weekend. I love speaking in front of people. It's so great. And then we get done, and I like to sit at the back of the room in like a sparse table. And then all the people are coming around. They're like, Laurie, what are you doing? Laurie, are you sitting all alone? I am definitely not sitting all alone. My friend that I just met at this table, who is also sitting quietly, just went to the buffet line. Okay. And she'll be back. All right. And then my other friend, who is the magician for the evening, came around not once, not twice, but 3 times to let me know that he had a seat for me at the very front. And on the third time, he was like, you need to move up there so that my standing ovation for my video looks nice and full. And I was like, dang it. Okay.
That is hilarious.
Thankfully, he didn't. I was worried he was going to pull like a rabbit out of my ear. So I'm glad that that didn't happen. And it was great. It was a really fun time. I really enjoyed being in the front row. But that is not really where I would normally sit because there's a lot of small talk. And small talk for me is hard. I don't know why. It's much easier for me to talk to a group than it is the small talk. I do not know why I'm wired that way. I just am. But the point is that networking on my own is like dread. But I'll do it. I'll do it. And in fact, I can tell you there have been multiple times when I was dreading an event like that, and it's actually gone really well. So my nervous system just hasn't quite caught up with reality on this one yet.
Yeah, I think for me, it's dramatic because of that. I dread it in the same way I dread going to the gym or I dread my kids' recital.
Well, yeah, it's getting the
because,
reps in, right?
yeah, there's a boring aspect to it. But at the end of the day, the narratives you write about those events and the importance of them, we're all awkwardly standing there like, this sucks, but give me money or give me a job or whatever it is that you're there for. And I think at this point in my life when I dread it kind of, but I don't let it get dramatic. I don't let my dread get to the dramatic point because I know in my head the narrative is that just showing up means a lot to people, especially the people that organize the events. Nobody's really there to judge the way you show up. So I've gotten used to it, but I think there's a healthy level of dread about it, but taking it to the extent it doesn't have to be dramatic. Okay, one more. Posting something vulnerable online. Dread or dramatic?
What do you say?
Dramatic. I have a
Say more.
very I have a very low, my window for tolerance on caring about social narratives has decreased and minimalized as I've gotten older and as those mediums have become more diluted and more full of really toxic behaviors. That answer might have been different a while ago, but I mean, my husband would be the first to say, I'm always very vulnerable. I'm pretty good at taking the heat if needed. But I guess it's kind of half and half, right? Because there is drama that comes with vulnerable posts, depending on what it is. So there is like literal drama that can result. But for me, I'm just kind of at the point where if it means something to me enough to post it, I probably don't care what the haters gonna hate, 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 hate. You know, but I'll be that in like a blow off way, but I'm just old.
I have like been repeatedly putting content out on social media, very vulnerable content, varying across the spectrum of that. And honestly, it doesn't seem to make a difference.
Right.
So might as well just make stuff that feels real and good. And I think you and I are in this interesting space where we have been more consistent this last 5 months of making content and really getting it out. And we plan to continue to do so. And part of the reason is because we are longing to connect with the people that we know out here doing the work and need support. We know that there's more than just me and Crimson who are doing this stuff. And we get this affirmed so much when we go out to conferences and we hear what people are doing and we hear the need for that support. I think we spent most of last year kind of dreading putting stuff out there because it was scary.
Right.
It was scary to have a message and to try and build a platform. And then I think after a year of it being scary, you and I kind of just were like, well, like if we're going to do it, let's do it. And then we showed up and we've been doing it consistently. And I really don't feel, like I said, I talk about the dread a little bit with editing the videos and just having to look at our video that long. But like, I don't dread putting our stuff out, and our stuff's been vulnerable. Like it's been real. Real shit's been happening to us. I mean, I talked about my resting bitch face. It's not like that's like my most favorite topic to talk about.
I talked about my boobs.
Yeah, come here to the emotional endurance movement for the real vulnerable conversation. And it is much less dread and more just recognizing like the drama and the noise of it because we've been consistent.
Right.
And we've gotten our reps in, and I feel like I built my resilience to it.
Exactly. That's
Yeah, but I mean, ask me again when we go viral for doing something stupid.
I'm here for it. It sounds way better
Yeah,
than
I feel
trying the
equipped.
legit way that we're doing.
This has been an interesting thing for us too as content creators, pulling the curtain back a little bit on this. Is that when we first started, we just didn't even really get disengagement. Like nobody was really hearing us. Now we get a decent mix of likes and we get dislikes. And we believe fundamentally, even though it is hard and it feels a little dialectical and opposing to say this, we believe if we're turning people off, we're probably doing something right. Our biggest challenge was just not hearing anything.
To the fear of no one else is doing this. No one else
Yeah.
wants to do the work, and that there wasn't an interest in talking about mental health in a way that's not diagnostic or clinical, but
And
day
not
to
doom and
day
gloom.
practical.
But like, yeah, like you can do this. Crimson and I both talked about serious ways that we've made meaningful changes on our day-to-day life just by practicing this stuff. And I do think that the emotional endurance movement is another form of this practice for us. I think us getting on here and being real and vulnerable about how this plays out in our life and sharing it consistently has made us more resilient to these conversations. So yeah, I'm with you. It's more drama now than dread.
Yeah.
And I hope it stays that way.